The dominant system is broken, and we all know it. It's broken for everybody. What we really mean by transformation, to be truly authentic with that meaning, is to transcend.
Dr. Jean Watson, a pioneering nurse theorist, transformed healthcare with her theory of human caring. As founder of the Watson Caring Science Institute and Dean Emerita at the University of Colorado, she emphasizes the profound impact of compassion in patient care.
And when you step into a caritas consciousness, we get to bring the love, the energy of love back into our life and our work and our world, and celebrate it in this world of technology and AI and all these new things. It's going to take us away from our humanity more than ever. We need core values and core knowledge and core practices that sustain our humanity.
Greetings and welcome to the Whispers of Wellness, my new well-being show. And I am so honored and delighted to have the one and only living legend, Dr. Jean Watson, with me today. So welcome to the show, first of all, Dr. Jean.
You're quite welcome. I'm delighted to be here, Charlene. You're amazing.
Oh, thank you. So I'm wondering, Jean, can you just walk us through a centering, perhaps?
Of course.
Okay, thank you.
Well, first of all, let's just be still. Just let yourself be still. And in the stillness, take a really deep cleansing breath. Breathing in, but you will gently holding it and releasing it. Realizing just breathing is in there. So continue to breathe. It can be a mantra. Just rising up and following the body of the breath and attending to the sacred teaching. His renewal breath is connecting the spirit of life with source. And on the out breath, we get to release and let go of anything that you brought into this space that's carrying our hearts or our minds and keeping us from being fully aligned with source. So in this quiet space, this stillness of this moment, just gently fall into your heart and feel the love and compassion and appreciation for yourself and just life itself. And gently in your heart say to visualize something beautiful. It's something beautiful. Gee, brings to your mind a beautiful bird, blue heron across my path. Something beautiful resonates in your heart. And it's gratitude and appreciation. It's like a haiku moment in your heart center. It opens up your heart. Forget yourself. From a moment of beauty and gratitude. So in this quiet place of this beauty, holding love and appreciation in your heart center, just gently radiate that out throughout your whole body. And breathe it up as high as you can imagine. Energy rising all the way to the sky, other sky, all the way down through your heart to Mother Earth, Divine Mother. It gives us a love for our environment, for our planet, for healing and health. And gently holding that space in your heart center, knowing you can return here anytime you choose. Just gently radiate these feelings out into this broader field of life and the energy of the planet and others who are suffering in this time. And gently bring those feelings back to yourself, that energy of love and gratitude. So you're surrounded and protected with this energy of divine love. Knowing that we are protected, but we're also connected in this unitary field. So just breathing that through again with a sense of stillness and silence and gratitude. And gently bring that back into the space. so that we can be open and present and open to what's emerging and wants to merge and what this energy of whispers brings.
Well, thank you. That was so beautiful. It reminded me, even in the centering moment, I remember you saying once that theoria means to see. And so that really, really, I never forgot that, because in a moment of burnout, I was able, your language and the theory was able to make me see again, see that I was called to be a nurse, see that I was called to touch lives in this particular way. So just beautiful. So thank you for that experience. And I hope everybody enjoyed that. For people that don't know you, which I don't know who doesn't know you, but could you tell them who you are? Who is Dr. Jean? I did put your bio. I'm going to put your bio in the description so you don't have to go into the depths of it. But I want to know who is Jean?
I'm just this simple person who entered nursing and was discouraged by it because I knew it had much more to offer than what we were being taught and expressed and institutionalized with. And so I was always critiquing my own experience, and I was disappointed and felt like it was inferior to what we had, who we were who I was a person and who we were as a profession. And so that's why I continued to pursue my education, because I was a diploma nurse. So then I got my bachelor's degree, then I got my master's degree, and then I got my PhD degree. And then I continued to do all these other advanced programs and study and traveled all over the world and that type of thing to give voice and language. And that was my passion, really, and my intellect and my moral ideals, to quote Nightingale, to bring forth a different level of what nursing actually had to offer to humanity and to ourselves, because increasingly, I think we're having to become aware that it's the person of the nurse that's practicing. It's not just the professional nurse. It's the person in the profession. And so the personal becomes the professional. And it's that kind of journey that we're all on, because it invites self-growth. It invites a higher consciousness. It invites ability to, when you have knowledge and you have an explicit framework for your discipline to guide you, such as caring science, it gives you a framework and a context in language and a consciousness by which to critique your situation, to see yourself differently, theoria, to see, and by seeing, I'm also now meaning seeing at a higher consciousness, seeing at a higher level. So it's almost like you're fully present, but you're also transcending yourself in that moment. You can actually, it's beyond transformation. That word has become empty to me because everybody's talking about transformed. But what we really mean by transformation, to be truly authentic with that meaning, is to transcend, to come up with a higher, to see the situation, but to be able to, in that moment, know that there's a higher order unfolding in that moment. And that's the breath and holding that still point in the midst of the chaos and all the fear and the domination and the power and the struggles. It's that kind of pace, micro self that we have to return to again and again and again and again. And we start our day with this quietude, with setting our intentions, by being intentional and conscious about who we are and what we have to offer, so that we are excited, because the 2021 ANA definition from ANA actually defines nursing as the integration of the art and science of caring. It is the first time caring has been used in the definition of nursing, which is revolutionary in a way. And it's also sad in the sense that that's such a core, but at the same time, nursing has been medicalized so much, trying to advance in, the dominant paradigm in contrast to advancing what I call nursing for nursing, which would be the caring, healing, and health modalities that we advance
Yes.
as practitioners, making ourselves directly accountable to the public. So anyway, all of this is changing very quickly. And nursing has this opportunity in a moment. It's a quick turning point. Is the tide is shifting very quickly for the public globally
Yes.
in this world of technology and AI and all these new things. It's going to take us away from our humanity more than ever. We need core values and core knowledge and core practices that sustain our humanity. We need guides on how to do that. And that's why I think Caring Science, and again, HeartMath you just had, they provide a guide and a framework and a format for us to be able to articulate and make a case for why we have to have human intelligence.
Yes.
Counterbalance artificial intelligence and technology. And so the language of my work, 10 Caritas processes, I don't know if people want to know all those, but they provide a language for the phenomena. Otherwise, if you don't have your own language of your phenomena, you're invisible.
Yes.
So this is part of what I think I'm about.
Yeah.
Continually on my journey. I mean, there's no end to it because we're dealing with humanity and the evolving consciousness of our global humanity and our universe.
Well, you said something that really just took me back a little bit. So when I was experiencing the miracle moment that happened from Caritas process number 10 being open, when I was in the OR, it was almost as if, and so you said something that made me think about what actually happened. The way I was trying to describe it was I felt like I was kind of up in the corner watching myself. It's so hard I've been trying to explain it. And you just said something that made me say, that is what it was. Cause it was almost like I was going to be the writer of the miracle so that I had to rise above so I can see what was happening so I can articulate it and explain to everybody around me that, hey, this is what Caritas process number 10 means, being open to miracles. And then also to see the impact of the moment on everybody. And then that's where, I don't know if I think I did tell you that part, but all of the practitioners and nurses and techs and everybody in the OR that was in that caring moment, they all wrote little stories for the baby. And so it was just such like you said, a transcendent. It was totally beyond transformative. It was transcendent because it felt like I was there, but I wasn't there. I was up there so that I could be the voice when it was time for me to speak it out. So I totally feel what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, I think it's an example of you're fully embodied, but you're also transcendent in that moment. It's very moment. And that moment transcends time, space, and physicality. It goes beyond you, as you say. It radiated to this entire field. And so what's happening in nursing now, we have this unitary consciousness. So, Rogerian onward, all the science of unitary human is all about energy and vibration and consciousness. And when you step into a Caritas consciousness, we get to bring the energy of love back into our life and our work and our world and celebrate it, not apologize, and include it in our science because it's an evolved view of science that brings the unitary field into the emergence of science. And that's what makes caring science so unique within the unitary field.
Yeah, and for it to be so transcendent that it can pull me out of burnout was so profound because that is what I see. That's why I'm forever grateful for Caring Science and the theory of it and you being obedient to the work that you've been called to do because it has impacted so many millions of lives, I'm sure, but not only our lives, but all of those that we connect with because we are one. And so everywhere I am, I'm embodying this love and this light, and I'm releasing love even in the midst of hate. And so it is a very powerful feeling to be able to surrender and do that. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So I am so grateful, and I have your here. And so Dr. Jean has been writing this. I mean, she wrote this amazing book. Now, I just started it about 2 months ago, and I'm only on chapter 2.
You don't have to read it sequentially. You just pick it up and move it.
And just read it.
Yeah, just read whatever, or don't read it, because it's not something that I think people might grasp it maybe years from now what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, I have one thing. I want to read this right here. It says, and it really served me. It's a quote that you used in here by Elise Boulding. And she said, "We are standing on the threshold of the cosmos, and we do not know who we are. Either we discover our identity and move into a new dimension of spiritual existence, along with our technical aspects of time and space, or we shrink back into substance as a race of well-trained clinician assistants, timidly feeding data into gigantic computers to find out what to do next. Who is taking time out to probe for new dimensions that will open up a way of life not now imagined? Who is dreaming dreams? Who is seeing visions? Where are they?" And so I just thought that that's what you're doing.
Well, thank you. But you know what? I think you're doing it. I think we're all doing it.
Yes.
Nursing has this pull. Nursing has this call. Nursing has this consciousness. We haven't been acknowledging it necessarily. We haven't even been aware of it ourselves. And so when we can work together and language it and give people permission to manifest what they already know,
Yes.
and language and form and structure and micro and macro practices to it, you have a whole entirely new way of being in the world. And that's what is happening. And that's what's needing to happen, or we will shrink back and be very good technicians. We're already being, brainwashed with all the propaganda, all the politics and everything that
Right.
is creating an imprint in our world and in our worldview. And we have to overcome that with this truth knowledge that we already own and we already have, and it has guided us across centuries.
Yeah. So, Dr. Jean, the reason why I really established this program, I mean, this particular show, is because I really wanted to get to the heart of healthcare. And I saw in your book, you spoke a lot about the nurse's heart. And so I thought that was really powerful because really the heart of our healthcare is in crisis. And so, can you talk to us a little bit more about why you wrote the book, and then just share some thoughts from the book? I know it's a lot in here, but just what you feel is relevant right now in this moment.
Well, you mentioned the heart of the nurse, and I mentioned that, or try to just explore that a little bit as a metaphor and really an energetic message that the heart of a nurse is really the heart of humanity, the heart of love, the heart of compassion, the heart of forgiveness, the heart of inspiration, the heart of just sustaining our own humanity is really manifest in the heart, symbolically and literally and metaphorically, in the heart of the nurse. That's why we are in nursing. So in that, at one level, and then at another level within the book, I wanted to make a case for beyond physical science, that we have all been socialized and professionalized and scientized into one reality that's only the physical reality. And we acknowledge spirit and we acknowledge the spiritual dimensions and all that. But from a worldview perspective and from an evolved, mature level of the discipline of nursing, we deal with unitary phenomena that are non-physical, such as emotions are non-physical.
Yeah.
Consciousness is non-physical. Sound, energy, beauty, love, these are all non-physical phenomena but we don't give voice to them, or we don't know how to operationalize them because they're not physical. And so we can say, just this morning I was reading something on Facebook, one of those texts that somebody was talking about bringing love back into nursing. And then somebody else is responding like, oh, how can we justify this? How can we look at outcomes? How do we measure this and that type of thing, which is their mindset. If you can't measure it, it doesn't exist.
Right.
At the same time, if you don't have language and give words to it, it doesn't exist either. And if you can't language the phenomenon, that's why I think this acknowledging that we're all one and we're in this quantum universe, and the energy of quantum love has these small acts of love have great impact in ways that we may never know. And it's like acknowledging that. And now when we have this turn of the technical and the AI and all of that control of humans, we're going to have implants and all sorts of things are happening. Yeah. Then what is it that sustains our humanity? And one of the aspects of my other writing about unitary caring science is this ethic of belonging, that we all belong to this infinite field of cosmic universal love. And we hold that as our sacred circle of life and death. That's our world that we work in and live in and have our being and becoming in. And we nurses of all professions, I think, deal with the most intense human suffering and phenomena. We deal with all the vicissitudes of life and death, joy, pain, celebrations, all of it. So that's a lot to carry. How do we carry all the wounds of society, basically? How do we carry that? We can't carry it.
Right.
Unless we understand and deepen our own humanity. When we can deepen our own humanity, maybe we need to have a life crisis ourselves, which I sort of went through. Maybe that's what's required for us to wake up, to realize that their story could be my story could be their story. And we're connected in that. And that this is what really allows us to have deeper compassion. And we do this to ourselves. We're unkind to ourselves, and all this negativity we talk about in literature. I don't even like to focus on it, but to me, it's because we have not been kind and compassionate enough with ourselves, love ourselves, to realize our own soul care, so that we can have more compassion and patience and forgiveness with ourselves and therefore with others. So if we're not growing in that way with ourselves, to tend to ourselves through these whispers of wellness, through spirit whispers, like what do we need to do for ourselves? If we're not able to do that, then it manifests in patient care, it manifests in our colleagues, it manifests in our family and our relationships with the world, basically. So it starts with self.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I was, so I went back in to USF to start teaching as faculty. And so I was in the class and I'm teaching a leadership class. And my heart just sank because, I practice caritas everywhere, right? So I was kind of digging into authentic spaces where they could actually share. Mm-hmm. And so I did caritas process number 5, and I explained it to them. And they started opening up about how they felt going into the hospitals and how they felt like they were a burden. And these are our new students, and they felt like their preceptor didn't really want to be bothered with them. And my heart just really sank, and it was multiple of them that said it in different systems. And I was just so saddened by what I was hearing. They're encouraged, they're still going to do their thing, but I so agree with it. We're in a crisis. We really are in a crisis. And it's like these younger, very excited nurses are ready to start their journey. And here they're confronted with the lack of belonging. They don't feel like they're included already. And so it was just so sad, but I was like, okay, I'm hearing this for a reason.
Right.
And so now with me and my business, I gotta shout from the rooftops because the students they're excited. They're so passionate about going to help out, the patients. Because all of them said, oh, I want to take care of people. I want to be there for, people. And so anyway, what would you say, like, what do we need to do as a system, as a healthcare system to try to help in this direction? Like, for instance, with students in particular, new baby students coming up. Like, how can we support them as nursing profession?
I think one thing we can do is stop the rhetoric that we do year after year after year after year, that the new graduates aren't prepared. This is a litany that I've heard across my life. Every generation gets criticized by the current generation or the older generation, saying they're not prepared. They come in for the wrong reason. It goes on and on and on. And this time, this era, it's even more pronounced because of the technology and the digital world and the fast pace and all of that. So just yesterday, I was on a program with the leadership, Veritas, and that whole phenomena came up again about judging and blaming the new generation because they're not prepared and not in the same consciousness that we are. And my response is, my perception of the new generation is that they have a lot to teach us.
Yes.
That they are here to critique, and they're not going to put up with the same old routine institutional domination and control and models that we've created and institutionalized. Yeah. They also want purpose and meaning for career. They want career advancement and options in their life. And we have to learn how to work with this new possibility of ambiguity and flexibility and responsivity to create new models of delivery, new patterns of delivery of care, and new models for practice, and to give them, I think they need the philosophy and theories of human care as a guide for themselves and for their practice. But the institution also has to hold a culture and accountability for how they prepare their next generation and invite them in and work with them to co-create new possibilities, because the dominant system is broken and we all know it. It's broken for everybody.
Yeah.
And so together, the new generation with all these new ideas and possibilities and flexibility, if you actually gave the new staff an opportunity to critique and come up with some new solutions for how they would want to work, I bet you would find some amazing new models of possibility that we wouldn't even be able to imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. I so agree with you on that. So, Dr. Jane, can you talk to me a little bit about, I know you have been metaphysics and well-being. Let's get into that a little bit. Because what is your definition of metaphysics, if I ask you?
There's two major understandings about metaphysics in terms of definitions of metaphysics. One is that it's a formal branch of philosophy. It's a primary branch of philosophy that describes what does it mean to be human, like ontologies of being and so forth. So it's a branch of philosophy in the bigger sense. But the common use of the word metaphysics that most people understand is it's beyond the physical. It's metaphysics. It's beyond the physical.
Yeah, that's so beautiful, Dr. Jane. And that's really why the Whispers of Wellness manifested, because I started listening to the whispers of my heart. And so it shifted, it put me on a journey to where I am now. So, man, that's amazing. Oh, thank you. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Dr. Jane. You are always a blessing. I will never forget the impact that you have had in my life. It's so amazing. And I'm so still on fire ever since I became acquainted with the theory. And now it's just who I am. And it has impacted my life. And I want to give it back to the students. And so that's why I wanted to go back in so I can equip them with I think caring science is a major tool to help you to remove yourself from burnout and to sustain your practice and to elevate your practice at the same time. Well, thank you so much.